Hey guys, welcome to the Space Between podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans behind a band that's been making music for over 30 years, exactly 35 years this year in 2026. And so celebrate we will. So this week is going to be a little bit different because it is spring break, or at least it's spring break here where I live in Arkansas. So because it's spring break and we're all taking a little break from the things that we normally do, I decided to do this episode a little different. That's why it's called Spring Break Episode. It's because taking a break from your regularly scheduled program to take a break and talk about just a few things that I'm excited about for 2026. We are headed into tour season. It is almost here, guys. I know it's still March, but it feels like it's already moving so fast, and it is only March. So May will be here before you know it. If you haven't checked out the schedule for what Dave Matthews Band is doing in 2026, I encourage you to jump on their website. They have such a great tour planned this year. They've also added some festivals, which are going to be a lot of fun. And the festivals aren't all together necessarily. There's one that kind of opens up the tour, if you will, in Memphis, Tennessee, the very first weekend of May. And so I am excited about that one. That is just a short drive from where I live. So I am excited to be there, and I hope that lots of you will join. Memphis, if you've never been, is a great city. It doesn't feel like a big city, and it's really not in comparison to a lot of the other cities that I've been to. You know, Dallas, Houston, of course. Memphis has a smaller town feel, but there's also some great stuff. Not only will there be a music festival there, check out the barbecue, check out the music history in Memphis. It's amazing. I'm sure you've at least heard of a man named Elvis Presley, and a lot of his beginnings were in that area. Born and raised in that area. So Memphis is home to Graceland, which, of course, was the home that him and his family lived in after he became successful. And so there's so much going on in Memphis. So if you've never been, and obviously you're a music lover because you're listening to a podcast about a band, so you will love Memphis. And then, of course, we have a lot of shows this summer. I'm excited that, you know, you never know when they're going to just drop it down to, 15 shows for the summer or 10, you know. I'm so paranoid about this. And I don't know if you guys share in that same, not frustration, but like that same anxiety, I guess, of going, oh my gosh, is this the last year? We're at 35 years, guys. And so I'm just like, wow, how much longer are we going to go? And so I'm so excited every time tour season dates are dropped, because I go, okay, looks like we're still doing good. We're still going strong. And 2026 is no exception. They're still going strong. Very excited about all of the shows that they have planned. So obviously you can check all that out at davematthewsband.com. I always like to give you directions because, you know what? There are a lot of new fans in Dave Matthews Band land. So not only do we have tour coming up, which is really exciting for all of us, and there's some exciting things happening in 2026 that are going to really help out a lot of us that cannot travel to see shows. Maybe we can get one in, maybe we just can't get in any this year, and that could be for many, many reasons. But let's just say that that's the case for you this year. We have always, or at least for several years, we've had so much help in being able to attend, if you will, these shows virtually through a Facebook group that's called Couch Tour. It allows people that are at shows to live stream those shows to that group. And then anyone that's interested in watching it that is a member of that group can watch it live. So you're live streaming it for free from the perspective of whoever is recording it. Sometimes, we have people from the lawn, from the reserve seats, and then some, a lot of times we have people that are in the pit that are live streaming it at the same time. And so that has just been such a big hit for so many of us that don't get to travel to a lot of shows, or, we just wanted to go and something happened. And, for whatever reason, we could always just hop online and watch that show and still feel the excitement in the group, because you feel like you're in the crowd. So thankful for that. But this year, and in previous years, but if you haven't heard of it, there's a company called Volta, Volta. Now, in the past, they've helped Dave Matthews Band do some live streaming from a professional point of view, meaning multi-camera views that the viewer themselves can choose. Like, oh, do you want to watch Carter the whole time? Okay, well, we're going to tap into the camera that's facing him or that's below his drum kit. Your experience is tailor-made by what you want. And just recently, they have their website, which is volta.live, that you can go back and experience night 1, night 2, and night 3 of Gorge 2025. If you don't know anything about those particular dates, Gorge last year, which is in Washington, had a historic night 2 in the set list. And so you can Google more information about that. But Volta's made that available for fans to just hop onto their website, and you can pay to get that multi-cam view or the director's cut view, a crowd view. I mean, there's like 2 million different ways that you can combine this. And don't quote my statistics because I do not work for Volta. 2 million is probably not the right answer, but you get what I'm saying. There's countless ways that you can make this experience to be exactly what you've always wanted, or maybe what you've had before, live just right there from the pit, or like I said, in Carter's drum kit somewhere, just getting lost in what he's doing up there, because that alone is a whole show. So Volta is going to be really involved in 2026, and they're rolling out some things for summer, which I am so excited about. Andrew and Zach over at Volta reached out to me. They had just found me through the podcast. And hey, guys, if you are listening to this one, they sent out an email that just said, hey, would you be interested in helping us test some things? Of course, with a group of a lot of other fans, just testing out Volta, kind of being a sounding board. Here's what we think others may want to see. And just creating that community, if you will, through Volta by and for Dave Matthews Band fans to help really create an experience for 2026. We're so excited that Dave Matthews Band has hired Volta to offer this experience to their fans. This, to me, shows that DMB really, really does want to enable their fans to have this music in a lot of different ways, right? Whether you're there, whether you're at home, whether you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean, if you've got the internet, you have the ability to now watch DMB live this year in 2026. So I'm so excited to see what Volta is going to be doing. I've seen a lot of mixed reactions on Volta and what they're planning to do. Of course, there's just a big controversy that I hear is it looks like Dave Matthews Band is nickeling and diming the fans and really just trying to squeeze more money out of us. There are those opinions. There are lots of opinions about Volta as well, and the fact that it's a paid experience. But I would love to get your opinion, and I would love to share that with Volta, or you can put don't share with Volta, whatever you want to do. But I know that Volta is really looking for information from fans that would help create that experience that is really tailor-made for the fans, by the fans. And so if you have an opinion on Volta being part of our fan experience in 2026, shoot me an email. My email address is located in the notes, in the show notes, wherever you are listening to this. So just send me an email and say, you can just put in the message Volta, and I'll make sure that Andrew and Zach get that information as well. So thank you ahead of time for sending in just things you'd like to see, things that you're a little nervous about, things that you don't like. Give it all to us. We're adults, and I think information is power, and how can we do better if we don't know, right? So send an email to me about Volta. Tell me what you got to say. And that also rhymes kind of with my next subject, which is So Much to Play. I don't know if you guys have heard of this website, but it is created by fans for fans, which of course is what my podcast is all about. So I'm so excited to introduce this to you if this is not something that you've heard of already. SoMuchToPlay.org is a website that was started by Pat O'Brien. He reached out to me because I had not heard of it, and I felt kind of sad that I had not, but yay, I finally arrived. I'm here, and a great time too as we kind of roll into 2026 tour. season. So Much to Play has games that you can play. You can predict set lists like we all love to do at the show. There's a lot of different things that you can do on this website. And it's like, again, it's for fans, by the fans. And so check it out, learn all about it, and stay tuned to the podcast because Pat is actually scheduled to be on the podcast. So that episode will be coming out really soon. And he's really going to kind of explain what So Much to Play is all about, how it started, why it started, all those fun stories of how fans have used this music as motivation to be creative about the thing that they love so much. And again, fans, what they're doing in this community of Dave Matthews Band, it just never ceases to amaze me. And those are the things that I want to highlight. What has this music done for the fans? It's done so much more than just what people give it credit for. And so again, that's what this podcast is all about. So stay tuned. I'm so excited to have Pat on the show so he can really dig into detail what that is. But I'm so excited that I just found it. So if you've never heard of it, go ahead and check it out, somuchtoplay.org, and then stay tuned for Pat's episode, and he'll help you kind of dig in and maybe understand some more of what they're trying to do over there at So Much to Play. Lastly, on this spring break episode, which I hope that, spring break is different all throughout the nation. It's, I always say they couldn't do it the same week everywhere because then it would just be mayhem. Like everyone is out all of the time trying to hit up Florida or whatever. So a week, these kids try to cram in as much activity as they can. I'm doing quite the opposite. I'm trying to do as minimal as possible during spring break. My college kids are off doing other things. And my daughter, who's in 9th grade, is on spring break, but she kind of feels like she has spring break all of the time because I homeschool her. So she doesn't actually go to a physical building every day. So life just feels different for her in general. And so spring break is kind of like, I don't have to do my schoolwork this week, but I'm kind of doing the same thing that I always do. I've just been so happy to be able to spend this time with her. And she's traveled with me a lot. And she's learning so much about Dave Matthews Band that she didn't necessarily ask to learn or is not even really that excited about. But she's learned so many skills just being around the people that love this music. I've traveled a lot with DMTB, which if you've never heard me talk about them, is Dave Matthews Tribute Band. I work with them a lot because I believe in what they're doing. Again, fans doing stuff because of the music. But their story is so fun because they celebrate the original sounds of Dave Matthews Band. So they're not looking to sound like what Dave and the boys currently sound like. They're looking to sound like 1995 Dave Matthews Band and just kind of pay tribute to those early sounds because Dave way back in the day sounded very different than it does now. And so we pay tribute to those early sounds and I love what they're doing. So check them out if you haven't. They've got all the Facebook stuff, pages, groups, Instagram, TikTok, all of the things, but they have a website, of course, too. It's just TheDMTB.com. And again, DMTB is Dave Matthews Tribute Band. They travel nationwide, literally coast to coast. Right now, they're in California. I just did 5 shows with them in Florida. So they're just coast to coast. They're doing it so wonderful. And I'm just so happy that people are finally catching.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What's going on, Space Between podcast listeners? This is David here, drummer with the Dave Matthews Tribute Band, here to tell you about what we have coming up for the remainder of this month of March and looking forward to April of 2026 as well. Starting March 12th, we leave for our epic cross-country road trip portion of the Tomorrow We Die tour with stops in Indiana, Missouri, and Kansas before we get to Colorado for a 5-show run between March 18th and 22nd. Following that, we're headed to California for 4 shows, 2 of which are in the Bay Area and 2 of which are in Southern California. After that, we're going to hightail it back east for the month of April to conclude the Tomorrow We Die tour as a weekend warrior band with shows across the Northeast. This has been an absolutely epic tour, and we'd love to see you for the conclusion of it this month or next. Check out thedmtb.com for more information, and also give us a follow on all social media platforms. Now back to the podcast. Enjoy.
kind of the grasp of what they were doing, because a lot of times I see, why is there a tribute band to a band that is still playing? And I hear you. I hear all of those questions, because those are things that I would think if I didn't know exactly what was going on. But they are doing such different things, over at DMTB, really paying tribute to those early sounds. So there's always that violin fiddle sound that we fell in love with back in the early days. And every so often they have a guy sit in that plays the spirit of Butch Taylor. And man, those were some great years that we had with Butch, 10 to be exact, if I'm not wrong. But I think I'm pretty right. I think it was 1998 to 2008 is when we had Butch Taylor. Those were some great years. And I hope I'm not wrong on that. I'm just quoting that off the top of my head. But check out DMTB. I have taken Grace on tour with them 2 different times. And so she's learning the OG sounds of DMB. And that's what I'm so happy with is, she's learning from the beginning. And then, she's never been to a Dave Matthews Band show before. And now that we're on this path that we are of like, okay, she's familiar with the early sounds, I feel like I have to, go through the decades with her before she can go to a current show. But that's just me being a super fan or whatever I am. So but those are really some things I wanted to talk about. I'm so excited about 2026 for the show as well. So many people have reached out to me and have been like, hey, I would love to share my journey on the Space Between podcast. And I literally just can't say thank you enough, because that's exactly how this show works, is by people reaching out and sharing their journey. Without you, there is no show. I've shared my journey and over 200 other people have too. And so that part is over. Now we have to just keep having new people on the show and everyone sharing their different experience. And that is how we document the fan journey behind all of this music and what it's done, the role that it's played in our lives, whether it's been 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25, 30, or 35 years. We all have such a very different journey with this band. And so if you are interested in sharing your journey, it's just as easy as sending an email. And again, my email is in the show notes. So send me an email and just say, hey, I'd love to share it. That's really all you have to say. What I do then is just schedule a time with you to do a recording. Then we meet on, it's called Riverside, but it's basically like a Zoom meeting. So it's me and you on the computer talking. And that's all it is. It's not live, so you don't have to worry about messing up, because I promise you I will be the first to do so. And I always tell my people that I'm recording with, like, please don't freak out, because I'm the one freaking out. I will mess this up first. And so nothing is ever live. I edit to my best abilities so that everyone is proud of the way they sound in that episode without taking away all of the character, right? Because no one speaks perfectly. No one. So it's normal to trip up on your words. And so I don't edit it really intensely, because then I kind of think that takes some value away from it. But definitely check out all of those things I've talked about in this episode. So, of course, check out the 2026 tour with Dave Matthews Band. I'm so excited about all of them. Right now, if you were asking me, which ones, Renae, are you planning on being at? I love to have a plan, but this year is just, it's crazy. There's so many things going on just in my personal life, between work and health and kids and being a wife and all the things, that life holds. It's so hard to have definites on some of these things. I do, of course, like I said earlier, I will be at Memphis in May, which is not called that. It used to be called that, and it's not anymore. I think it's like Bill Street Music Festival or something. It's on the website. Just go to davematthewsband.com. It's on the website. It will, you just click right there and then boom. It's the first weekend in May. It's in Memphis. So I will definitely be there, because it is just not too far of a drive for me at all. I'm really debating on Dallas. I know that the tour opens up in Houston, but that's such a far drive for me. And it wouldn't, I have to think about the cost. It'd be silly just to go to a Texas show. I live next to Texas. I've been to Texas. I'm trying to mark off the shows I haven't been to. So, I will be there via Volta. How about that? And if if something happens and Volta's not there, I'll be there on the couch watching it on Couch Tour. So I will be there in spirit and mind and thought, and I'll be dancing wherever I'm at. I'm debating on Dallas. It is only 5 hours from me. I do have a ticket if I need one. So I'm just like, okay, I don't know. It's just, I got to drive down there and drive back. And, it's a whole thing. It's only 5 hours though. That's what I keep telling myself. I'm like, Renae, you would tell anyone else if a show is only 5 hours from you, you get your butt in your car and you drive there. And here I am like, I don't know. It's 5 hours. It's on a Saturday. Oh my goodness. Like I sound like so unlike the super fan I just claimed to be a little bit earlier. I'll probably be at Dallas. So I guess there's an official statement. What's next? My husband and I'm so excited that he's traveling with me this year. It's just not always a given that he'll be with me because his job is like, gotta be there kind of job, And so he has to be there to work. But I'm so excited that he will be going to West Palm Beach with me this year, both night 1 and night 2. We're going to get in on Thursday and go to the night 0. And then, of course, night 1, night 2. And then we're going to come back home. I think that's the only show that Justin might be getting in this year, other than the 2 festivals. We're doing, of course, the May one in Memphis, and then skip forward to September, and we're doing Bourbon and Beyond again. Justin loves bourbon. I mean, that's just like when people get him gifts, that's what he gives because he loves it. Now, does he love all bourbon? No. And he loves to tell the stories between, the differences between whiskey and bourbon and what makes a bourbon. And so last time Dave went to Bourbon and Beyond, it was like heaven, right? Because we have Dave Matthews Band and then we have the Bourbon Trail. So many bourbon distilleries or whiskey distilleries. And we had a blast. I mean, there's so much science. I do not personally like whiskey or bourbon, but I just thought it was so much fun to be on the tours and just to honestly watch his face. It was like watching a 5-year-old walk into Disneyland, and that is no stretch in me saying that. I swear to you, it was like we go into this gift shop where he can get this one kind of bourbon that's a little harder to get here at home. And he gets a grocery cart. And I swear to God, watching him walk off, it was almost like he was skipping. He was so damn happy. And so bourbon is a definite, anytime there's bourbon and Kentucky and Dave Matthews Band involved, we're a solid yes. We'll try to move some things around to make that happen. But Kansas City, I'm excited about Kansas City. It's only 3 hours from me. I love Kansas City. I know it doesn't say Kansas City on when you go to the website, and it says something Missouri. That's basically Kansas City. So you're going to be able to get the barbecue and the music. I love Kansas City. It is great. I love it. So I'll be there with a couple of friends. I never know what's going to happen. And that's the fun, I guess, of just living life one day at a time and just going, hey, man, I'm open to whatever. But I can't plan my whole life right now today. So guys, thank you so much for listening to the spring break episode. So next week, we'll be back with a regular episode. So there will be a Dave Matthews Band fan on the show to talk about. They love Dave Matthews Band. They're why. But I'm just so thankful to each of you that support the show, that continue to believe in what this mission is and just documenting the fan side of this journey, because this is 50% of why a band is successful. I say that a lot. So thank you guys so much. Again, send me an email if you have some information about Volta that you'd love to share with me. I'll share that with Andrew and Zach over at Volta. So likes, dislikes, hates, loves, whatever. Tell me everything. Tell me something that I hadn't even said. Do you have a great idea that's not been done? Hey, share that with me. I'd love to share that with them over at Volta. Stay tuned for Pat O'Brien as he is on the show next to talk about So Much to Play. And then be sure to check out the tribute band, Dave Matthews Tribute Band, which is over at the DMTB.com, thedmtb.com. Of course, check out all of these things on socials as well. And guys, until the next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.